teams. Meanwhile, the Senior Special Assistant to Ondo State Governor on Special Duties, Dr. Dunyo Depowale, says the State House of Assembly has the constitutional right to write the Office of the Deputy Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, to provide answers on allegations leveled against him for gross misconduct. Dr. Depowale, who made the disclosure during an exclusive interview with Osrc, gave insights to allegations leveled against the Deputy Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, on gross misconduct. Odebowale said the allegations of whether or not he used 300 million naira to purchase an SUV vehicle should be investigated and get the fact out to the public. He urged members of the public to become assuring that Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu is fully committed to continue to provide dividends of good democracy.
How else?
So it goes without saying that the relationship between the governor and his deputy went sour, and all of these things are responsible. And then here we are, an impeachment process initiated.
See, that is simplistic. That is simplistic. I'm not the governor. I don't know whether their relationship has gone sour. Aketi came back now. I've seen him twice since he returned. He has not told me that that he does not talk to the deputy governor. He has not told me that that anybody should be impeached. He has not told me, and I will not tell lies against myself. And that does not mean that I will not be happy if anybody is impeached or if anybody. No, that's not. But I'm saying that we should treat facts as objectively as we can. You know, what are the facts on ground? The House sat yesterday. Whether Aketi commanded them to sit or not, only they can explain. What did they come up with? That the deputy governor of your state approved for himself the purchase of an SUV, market value, real market value 200 million, but politics value 300 million for himself out of the palliative money released. You are a journalist. You should find out.
2 billion naira approved for each state.
2 billion, remove 300 million, so now 1.7. So you should ask questions. Did he sign it or was his signature forged?
To the state governor speaking on the deputy governor's allegations leveled against him, and of course on gross misconduct. And now the people of Ondo State have been advised to cultivate the habit of planting trees in their domains, as this will effectively help in mitigating the negative management of the institution's faculty of agriculture, and it takes to encourage care and nurture for the environment.
Aside being an attractive aesthetic, trees remove and store carbon from the atmosphere, slow heavy rain, and so reduce the risk of flooding, enhance air quality, and improve the urban heat island effect. Tree planting has been identified by environmental advocates as one effective way to mitigate the effects of climate change. However, deforestation had become a major concern as a result of the indiscriminate felling of trees.
Sir, you are going to plant for us Adinja Wumbulu.
The Wyden's Faculty of Agriculture held this annual tree planting program as a way of reviving the culture of afforestation. During the tree planting process, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Olatunji Abayomi, stressed the importance of trees to the environment, adding that it has become a habit for the institution to plant trees annually to reduce the effect of deforestation in the environment.
Trees are very essential in this age of climate change. So that's why the council decided that we're going to set aside one day every year for tree planting and contribute personal funds in order to support the university environment.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Olugbenga Ige, who had supervised several tree planting processes of the institution, promised that the initiative will be maintained.
This is September, and very soon the rains will go. But we must ensure that this survives. There must be sustainability, and the Department of Forestry and Wildlife and the Faculty of Agric as a whole will be mandated to make sure that this survives. So on our own, the university will continue to do that. As management, we will continue to make sure that our environment is better.
The visitor to the school and Governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, represented by the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Sunday Akinwalire, commended the university for keying into the vision of the state government at promoting a cleaner and healthier environment, and equally advised the public to imbibe the culture of planting trees to make the environment a safe place to live.
It gladdens my heart that Adekunle Ajasin Akukwa University has done a noble job by keying to the vision and mission of Mr. Governor as far as the environmental use is concerned. We will continue to partner with all institutions, with all individuals, and even international organizations that will have interest to collaborate with us in Ondo State to make life more abundantly better for our people.
Initiatives such as this will in a long time lead to afforestation, thereby tackling environmental challenge in the state and nation at large. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Reprieve is on the way for commuters flying Akure-Owena on the road following hardships occasioned by the deplorable state of a section of the road. The damaged portion of the federal road had plunged motorists into unpalatable experiences, delaying trips and damaging vehicles. Osrc's Joy Pius again was on ground to glean the intervention of Ondo State government as missionaries have been moved to the site.
For weeks now, motorists and commuters plying Akure-Ondo Road along the Owena axis, a federal road, have had harrowing experiences trying to maneuver their ways to various destinations.
We are facing serious challenge on this road. So a driver for 4 days now in the bush, it's a very big challenge.
I was coming from Ibadan. That was on Saturday. I get to Wasimi around 4 o'clock. Before I could reach Owena, I spent more than 4 hours in just 10 minutes drive.
I don't know what exactly is the problem. Maybe it's a problem with the contractor or the materials they are using, or maybe they don't know exactly what the problem is. This particular area, I don't know. It has not been functioning well since they renovated the road.
The situation, which has led to a standstill of vehicles, has many travelers who could no longer cope, struggling to navigate their ways across the bad portion of the road on foot.
Since 2 weeks ago, I left Lagos. I'm going to Kano. I used 3 days when I'm going here. When I'm coming back again, today is 6 days that I'm here now.
We have been here since last week Wednesday, so today making a week plus. Here is bush. You can see everywhere now. There's no food here, no water, nothing. So I don't know what is going on. I don't know what's the work of FEMA.
I removed my shoe. I entered into the heavy mud over there before I could cross to this point. And when coming from Ondo to Akure now, you can't see straight vehicle because it's just like we are crossing border here.
This is the 4th day. I'm on a business trip to Nasarawa State, do you understand? Getting to this place, I only made gridlock. When I inquired, not even inquired, they said, okay, yes, when I inquired, they said bad road. I now trekked down to the point. I saw dilapidated surface, do you understand? It was just here. So, along the line, we try a way to make it accessible, no way, before the government intervened.
The failed portion is now receiving attention following the intervention of the Ondo State government. As at the time of our visit, men of the Ondo State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure were seen excavating moisturized contents from the failed portion, followed by introduction of hardcore materials. Most of the motorists who have spent several days on this route applauded the gesture but appealed to the state government to hasten the rehabilitation of the road.
The thing is so terrible that we are spending so much money that we one couldn't bear. So I don't know. I feel that the government should make haste and help especially those our students that are going on for their education, those that are going for other business, and the travelers.
Pending the completion of the road, government has implored motorists to make use of Ipetu-Ijesha Road. It is hoped that the intervention of the state government will bring a permanent solution to the failed road. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Ondo's House of Assembly has applauded the state's Contributory Health Commission ODCHC for raising the bar of healthcare delivery in Ondo State. Members of the House Committee on Health during a visit to the Commission noted its strategic role in the provision of qualitative and affordable healthcare for residents of the state. House of Assembly correspondent Omoshiola Adesoye Ajayi now reports.
The important role of the Ondo State Contributory Health Insurance Commission in the delivery of an efficient health system to the people of Ondo State brought about this visit by members of House Committee on Health led by the chairman, Dr. Christopher Ogunlano, to the commission. The chairman of the committee, Dr. Christopher Ogunlano, said the commission is working in tandem with the vision of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu for the health sector.
We all know that health is wealth. And this is my field. We know what medical services, or the cost of medical services now. And for somebody to be providing it pro bono, it's not a small job. I know the essence of this commission is to provide qualitative health services to our people, and it involves funding. And I can assure you, we, this committee member, will support you 100%.
Other members of the committee asked that all hands must be on deck for the success of the health insurance scheme to achieve universal health coverage. The Director General, Ondo State Contributory Health Insurance Commission, Dr. Abiodun Oyeneyin, informed the lawmakers of the innovative steps taken by the Commission to boost healthcare delivery. He announced that plans are underway to include pensioners and those in the informal sector into the scheme.
Last week we did a mock-up for those that missed the enrollment. We know that the new members are also not yet enrolled, so the old ones are gone. As long as you take salary from the AG, then it will be deducted from source. But when you leave government, then if the deduction stop, then the health insurance stop. So we are putting up a program now for retirees so that when you retire, it can be automatic. We've had meetings with the retirees and they're very much interested. That one is still in the pipeline. But the overall of them is the informal sector. 90% of people don't even work for government. So we have the Sunshine Health Insurance Scheme that is designed. People have been calling us artisan group in Yaloja that they are interested. But we are taking it one step at a time.
The Ondo State Contributory Health Commission was established by the state government to ensure access to quality healthcare services for all residents of Ondo State, irrespective of their socio-economic status and geographical location, in an effort to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3 in the year 2030. Omoshiliola Adesoye Ajayi, Osrc News.
The chairman of Osrc Media Group, Mr. Kule Adebayo, has assured audience of the organization's radio and television platforms of continuous efforts to meet their expectations with quality news and programs content. Mr. Adebayo, who gave the assurance during the latest edition of the media's group's quarterly production and content meeting, commended staff for excellent delivery, charging them to do more. The meeting is designed to review the station's operations across various departments and chart ways for better delivery.
We have an ambition, and that ambition is to perhaps go on the paid platform. So whatever we need to do to make sure that our programming stands the test of time on the paid platform, that is, appeal to more than our regular audience, I think we should have it at the back of our minds today. In the last 1.5, 2 years precisely, there has been a trajectory from our old challenges, programs failure, programs not working well, to stability. Now from stability, we are doing sustainers. Perhaps after we leave sustainers, we can then focus on excellence. That excellence which we need to work harder than we are working, is what we believe at a higher level should be the requisite for uploading our station on a pay platform.
Mr. Kule Adebayo speaking there. That's the chairman of those states Radio Vision Corporation Media Group. And now, Nigerians from all walks of life urge young technocrats who have been either elected or appointed into positions of authority to give great account of themselves to justify the confidence reposed in them. A Korea resident who spoke with our correspondent Joy Pius in the wake of recent approval of the nomination of Ondo State-born Ayodele Olawande, among other versatile young citizens, said it is high time that the younger generation proved their mettle.
According to the United Nations, Nigeria is regarded as the most populous country in Africa and the fourth most populated country on earth, with an estimated 375 million people, with youths accounting for about 262 million of the population. Nigeria has one of the largest youth populations globally, which is an opportunity for harnessing the country's potentials for sustainable development and growth. In recent times, there has been increased clamor for youth's inclusion in governance in Nigeria to bridge the country's governance gap. In the run-off to the 2023 general election, President Bola Tinubu, during his electioneering campaign, assured of tangible youth representation in his cabinet owing to the pivotal roles played by them during the election period. Keeping faith with his promise, a number of youths have been appointed to hold key positions in the highest level of governance in the country. Among these appointees is a 32-year-old tech entrepreneur, Mr. Khalil Halilu, as the Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure. The inclusion of Ms. Oriri Agbaje, a 400-level student of the University of Ibadan, in the Presidential Tax Reform Committee. The choice of Ajuri Ngelale, age 37, as presidential spokesperson and special advisor to the president on media is another highlight of the president's commitment to youth inclusion. Other youthful appointees are 41-year-old Minister of Interior, Olubumi Tunji-Ojo, the recent being the nomination of 37-year-old Jamila Ibrahim as Minister of Youths, alongside Ondo State Youth Leader Ayodele Olawande as Minister of State for Youth. Residents who described the move as a welcome development say youth inclusion was requisite for robust governance and accountability, and called on the nominee to discharge his duties effectively and efficiently, especially in the areas that most concern the youths.
The promise of the Mr. President that he is going to run an inclusive government that have young people, that have the elderly ones, and also persons living with disability is on the right track, because he promised during the electioneering process, and this is one thing that is already fulfilling for the young people. There should be an inclusion. Young people should have a table. They should have a voice during the decision-making processes.
Younger people have been saddling with strategic responsibility, strategic positions on how to move this country forward. And the resultant effect, it is simple, that this desired change, the dream of our forefathers, will no time come to bear with what we have been saying.
This is the first time in the history that we'll be having youth of early 30s that are making ministerial appointments. Is a very good development, and that development alone is encouraging the youth to participate well in politics.
All the positions that have been putting the youth is very okay. As time goes on, things will getting better.
It will give us youth voice. People will be able to hear us. We'll be able to, unlike when the old people are in government, but now when that the youth are in government, they will be able to think from our own perspective. They will be able to hear us more and understand us better.
This is highly commendable. I'm encouraged. As a legal practitioner, I would say that it's a positive development, it's a good development in the right direction. So I want to commend Mr. President for this, but it's another thing for the youth also to live up to expectation. If there is any area where I want young people to work on, I want them to work on how we can have massive employment for the youth. How can this be created? This can best be created by having policies, creating enabling environments that will enhance further youth participation.
During a phone interview, the newly nominated Minister of State for Youth assured of his readiness to represent the youths of the country in all capacity.
But there's a lot of things you can do about youth. And first thing is to go back to the roots of the engagement and make sure that you work with everybody. If it's to beg, we beg. If it's to cry, we cry. Because this is our time. The government of Mr. President, our father, must be seeable to the young people, must be touchable to the young people, and must be felt by the young people.
Many say the inclusion of youths in governance will help kickstart the implementation of youth-centered agitations and ultimately reposition the country for greater development. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
In the meantime, Nigerians say the resurgence of courtism has assumed a threatening dimension and must be urgently needed.